What is up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video of a Russian guy telling you the stories that are happening inside of Russia right now. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like the video because it really helps the channel grow to get the information out to all of you. Now, we got some really serious news coming out of Russia right now because the West is probably going to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles inside of Russia. Now, I could tell you one thing, the Russian government is definitely panicking about this because the Russian air defense systems are not going to be able to handle rockets like Storm Shadow or ATACMS rockets. Those are very advanced and they have a relatively short flight time until they hit the target. So it's going to be very hard for Russia to intercept those rockets. Obviously, Vladimir Putin is very angry from hearing this news. Now, before we get into the topic, I would like to see together what cities and what towns can those rockets hit if the West allows Ukraine to use them. So we got a photo right here. We could see the red zone is where the rockets can hit. It can hit Bryansk City, Orel City, Kursk City as well, Voronezh, Rostov, and a big part of the Crimean Peninsula, which is strategically probably very good for Ukraine. You could see also the captured parts of Ukraine as well. It's going to be able to hit all of them. Obviously, from hearing this news, Vladimir Putin got very angry because he understands that those rockets are very sophisticated and can do a lot of damage inside of Russia. And in no way am I happy about this, but this is what happens during war, and Russia bombs Ukraine. All right? And Vladimir Putin being so surprised that Ukraine wants to bomb the military infrastructure back so that it will slow down the process of Russians attacking Ukraine makes a lot of sense. Let me read this out to you. On Thursday, Vladimir Putin tried to remind everyone that permission to use Western missiles to strike targets in Russia is a red line. This was a response to statements by Western politicians and media publications that suggested that Kyiv would likely receive permission to use Western missiles to strike Russia. There's probably a 90% chance that Ukraine is going to be allowed to use those rockets inside of Russia. Now, a bit of details. Putin stated that permission to strike with high-precision Western weapons on Russian territory would mean nothing other than direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, European countries in the war in Ukraine, and he states that this is direct participation of the US and Ukraine inside of this war. He also said that we will make appropriate decisions based on the threats that will be created for us. So basically what Vladimir Putin is saying is that if you allow Ukraine to be able to use those missiles inside Russia, that means all of you guys are involved. So he's trying to scare the West in saying if one of those rockets hits Russia, that means you guys were probably the ones who were controlling them. It would be your fault that you're attacking Russia. So does this mean that we are on the brink of a nuclear war? Is this Cold War II happening all over again right now? This is very scary times that we are living in right now. What can be done about this? Well, in my opinion, the only way to stop this is to give back the land that Russia took from Ukraine and give it back to them. All right? And then everything stops. And let other countries live their own life. Let them live their own life. It's their own country. They can make whatever decisions they want. Just stop this absolute massacre of innocent people. It's unbelievable what is happening right now. But as you guys know, this is probably one of the biggest wars for Vladimir Putin. And I doubt that he wants to lose it. So he is going to be going into it until he either wins or gets overthrown. There's only two options. I doubt that there's going to be any peace talks whatsoever because Vladimir Putin is not going to be giving back the territories to Ukraine, because if he even thinks of doing it, for example, imagine this: Vladimir Putin gives back all the territories that Russia has captured. The next thing that's going to happen is, first of all, the Russian citizens who were brainwashed by the state media are going to say, why did our soldiers die in this war? I thought we were saving those Ukrainian people who live in those Russian occupied territories. Why did you give the land back? Obviously, that will make huge disruptions inside Russia, and he's going to get overthrown anyways. Now, if he loses this war, he's obviously going to get overthrown as well, because the Russian citizens will realize that this was a worthless war. And if you guys think that a lot of people think that this is not a worthless war in Russia, there are probably 50 or 60% that believe that Russia is actually denazifying, doing something. I don't even know. Every time I read the Russian news, they're saying something different. Right now, they're de-arming Ukraine, but from starting this war, they actually armed Ukraine more than it was ever armed ever. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So all I can say about this situation is that the Russian government is scared, and they have realized that they have went too far, and they realize that once those Western missiles hit the Russian territories, a lot of Russian people are going to be very angry with the government. They're going to be asking questions. I thought we were the superpower of this world. How could you guys not stop those rockets? Why didn't you take Ukraine like you said in 3 days? And people are going to get really mad. So we will just have to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting to see if Ukraine is going to be allowed to use those missiles. Obviously, I'm very sad because a lot of innocent lives are going to be killed because of this. But at the same time, Ukraine is trying to stop the attacks inside of Ukraine. And by being able to use those rockets, they're probably going to be targeting the military infrastructure that will cut down the amount of soldiers and the amount of weaponry that can be sent over to the Ukrainian front lines where Russian soldiers are attacking Ukrainian soldiers. So it does make sense in a way. I'm just really scared at what's going to be happening, because this is, with the threats that Vladimir Putin is giving to the West, saying that it's you guys who are doing this and it's all going to be your fault, that really feels like there's going to be a nuclear war. And honestly, I did not see any nuclear bomb shelters in Thailand, so I'm a bit afraid of what is going to be happening right now. I just hope for the best, or I just hope somebody overthrows the guy and all of this will stop. Now let's get to another really interesting topic. Now, there was a broadcast on Russian television. You could check it out right now. And the second point, so we watched this report about trains, and look, the rails are intact everywhere. The stations are intact everywhere. And the Nazis bombed all the railway junctions. Therefore, I think our general staff has also drawn the appropriate conclusions, clarified the objects, the catalog of objects of fire damage, and they will not ride their trains so brazenly anymore. Those people are just not shy at all of speaking about this, because they were saying that the fascists in Germany were bombing railway junctions. Therefore, the general staff in the military should take notes and do the same in Ukraine, because why are they riding around trains there? How is this even possible? I think that my great-grandparents are turning in their graves after they were defending the whole Soviet Union. They were in the Second World War. My great-grandfather was a tank mechanic and my great-grandmother was a sniper, and they were in Stalingrad during the siege. And I just find it absolutely crazy at the type of stuff they're saying. And how comes the public don't say anything about this? They're literally getting ideas from Nazi Germany and saying that the Russian military should use the same. Are they gonna... I hope they don't look into history books and find out what a gas chamber is and all that stuff, because if they see that type of stuff in history books, I would not be surprised if on television they're going to be saying that we should gas all our enemies and create concentration camps. Oh my god, I cannot believe what my country has actually turned into. This is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Now, you guys might be wondering, what the heck? Why do I have this huge microphone right here with this microphone stand? Ivan, I thought your bank is blocked and you do not receive money from YouTube at this moment for the past 3 months. Well, actually, yes, it's true. But I got this as a gift from a company called Fifine, and this is not a sponsored video. This is not an advertisement. This is literally a plug for their company because they just gave this completely free for me, just like a gift. So I can use it in my YouTube videos and the podcasts that are going to be coming out soon, because I was literally waiting for this microphone to start creating really interesting podcasts with really interesting people for you guys to watch. And here's a bit of the unpacking to just see how it looks like. It's not expensive. It's like $100. You could just type in Fifine on the internet and find out their website if you're looking at using a microphone that you like, if you like this. And they have a ton of different other microphones. I just think this is awesome. They're an awesome company. Thank you very much. I really, truly appreciate it. I mean, really means a lot to me. And, you know, giving me a gift that is actually used for my job is really nice. Thank you for the support, Fifine. You are legends. A bit of unpacking from Sanction Ivan. Here's one box, here's the second box. We're opening it up to see what's inside, and inside we got a box. Very interesting, opening it up, and it is a Fifine Stand BM88, which is very nice. Another box we're opening up here. Very nice, looks really good. Tank 3 podcast microphone. It has XLR and USB. Very nice. We got a very nice manual here that we are not going to be reading because we don't need any manuals, and we're just going to check out the microphone. It's really heavy, made out of metal, looks absolutely delicious. And let's check out the actual stand, which you're gonna see in the video and you've been seeing it, but it's really nice, made out of really sturdy metal, and I really like the Fifine. Well, that's how it looks like. Let's get to the other news. Now, today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest Kremlin propagandists in Russia. His name is Vladimir Solovyov, and he has been on Russian television for years. He has been on many different TV channels, and he is most famous for this program where he talks about what Vladimir Putin has done for the past week and what the government has done for the past week as well. And he has like 5 or 6 government officials in his TV show, and they talk about Russian politics and how the West is really bad and how amazing Russia is right now. Now, what's interesting is that journalists have found out how much this guy has made last year, and he has made $5.6 million, which was paid to him from the Moscow budget. And you might be wondering, what did he get paid for? Well, before we get into that, he actually had a YouTube channel before 2022, before the war, before he got sanctioned. And when his channel got removed, when he got sanctioned, because he was literally saying crazy stuff on his channel, he decided to create his own TV channel. And there was this channel in Russia called Euronews. You got Euronews all over the world. Anyways, they left Russia and that frequency was open. So he hijacked that frequency and started doing the same thing he did on his YouTube channel, which is blatantly crazy stuff. And when he found out, that the journalist found out how much money he made, this is what he said.
We can explain, and all the other scum traitors, homosexuals of the spirits and non-entities are Westerners. But people look at me, love me, and much higher than absolute literal lying crap that you write. Not only that, I will sue the present this alleged research of yours in the surname. If you have honor and conscience, then you sign for your fakes. I'm going to sue you, label, and sue you, homosexuals and fools. But you're lying rags. You are nobody. You're rubber technical products that Western Special Services has planted on your dick. And fuck you in your dirty anal holes.
I cannot, I literally cannot. This is a guy who works for state television, and he said this on a television broadcast. How are you even allowed to say all this stuff? And I'm pretty sure his channel is probably illegal, but since he's such a big loss for the current regime, they close their eyes for this. But what's interesting is that he actually has a son that lives in England and I think in the States. And he was hiding any information about him until recent times. You know, he talks a lot about how Russia should bomb Ukraine, Russia should bomb United States, Russia should bomb England. But the funny story is his son lives in England and the States. And what's interesting the most, this guy is probably one of the biggest homophobes I've ever seen on any television programs ever. But funnily enough, his son actually married another man in the States. And he was denying this for a very long time. But his son literally married a man. And I have no problem with that. Everybody has their own life, their own decisions and whatnot. But his father was not happy that other people have found out about it. And I find it funny that the guy actually says that those countries should be bombed, but his son literally lives there with his husband. So that's a little story about him. Another really interesting thing is that in the 90s, he actually taught economics at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, USA. Can you imagine this, guys? This guy actually worked in the US and he was an economics teacher in a university. That's crazy. So anybody of you watching could have been learning economics from the biggest Kremlin propaganda ever. Could you imagine this? This is crazy. The guy lived in the States. He actually has a daughter that was born in the States and she holds an American passport as well. And I'm just really surprised from the years he lived in the States, the way he talks about it, because even in the 90s, the US, it was even better than Russia is today. So this guy is just out of his head. But it's really interesting to see, to research a little bit of the background of those people and finding out that they actually lived in other countries and they know the reality of this. And now, interestingly enough, many of the Russian citizens don't even have a clue that this guy literally taught economics in the States. If this story actually comes out in Russia, a lot of people are going to be like, what is this guy? Why is he saying all this stuff? This is the thing. A lot of politician kids, a lot of propagandist kids, and those people themselves actually lived in the States or in European countries, and a lot of their children go to school there and they end up living there as well. And like I said in the previous videos, I will be making a video about this for you guys very soon. I'm just collecting all the information, and I will definitely make a video about this guy's son because it is very, very interesting. I hope you guys found this video very informative, and if you did, I would really appreciate if you guys could hit the like button, the subscribe button, and if you guys want to support me while my bank is getting worked on, and I really hope I didn't get scammed, you could support me in my Patreon. The links are going to be in the description. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day and stay safe.